the next step, what we are going to do is, I'm going to select all the layers here. We are going to group them up together. But in After Effects, there's no such thing as group. The only thing that you can group is this one. Right? So all your composition is actually considered as group. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all 3 layers, and then I'll go Layer, Pre-Compose. Shortcut key Ctrl-Shift-C. Right? So in Pre-Compose, you will have 2 options. Either leave all the attributes in the current layer, or you can move all the attributes into a new comp. What you are doing is actually you are moving these 3 layers into a new composition. So you can also name your new comp. In this case, I'm just going to name it as solo, because it's one shape object. So I'm going to name it solo. And for this instance, we cannot leave the attribute in 3-wave because we don't have any effects here. We only have keyframe. So the keyframe will be bring into the new comp. Right? So I'm going to name it solo and move all attributes to new comp and press OK. Now you have another comp called solo. Solo, which is here. So to edit anything within solo, what you do is you double click on this one. So you double click, it will bring you into the solo comp. Right? So if you want to edit your wave comp, you have to click back your wave comp, and now you have 1 layer of solo comp here. And the solo comp is already animated. We animate this. Right? So from here, we pre-comp a lot. Some people like pre-comp, some people prefer all their layers to be here. It depends on how you like to work. Pre-comp is generally easier to manage because you can easily edit certain things. This is sort of like your Photoshop smart layer like that, right? But we'll pre-comp this. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it down, I guess. So press S for scale. I'm going to scale this down 50, I guess, so that it's slightly smaller a bit. All right. So I'm going to scale solo comp for 50. All right. And I can also rename this. I'll rename this as a center main. Easier to understand later. All right. So in between here, I'm going to have 8 different circles. Roughly 8 lah. 7 also can, up to you. But I'm just going to do 4 to begin with. Okay. So center main, I'm going to duplicate 4 times. So I got center main 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. I'm going to name this layer 2A. Then this one, no need lah. Just name this 2B. This one 2A. This one 2C. This one 2D. Okay. So I'm going to move it up here. It's not that difficult actually, but you sort of also need to understand how to use anchor point. I think for now, straight away we'll do 8 lah. So this one will be 2E, 2F, 2G, 2H. Alright. Now, instead of selecting the layer and move it up like that, instead of doing this, it's kind of hard to control, right? And then later on 2G, it might not be super accurate, right? So what I'm going to do is this. I have an easier method. So I'm going to select 2H to 2A, all of them, and then I'm going to press A for anchor point. So brings up the anchor point here. Now this is the bad thing, and also sometimes it can be a good thing for After Effects. Remember I told you I have this thing here called reposition anchor point, where it moves the anchor point. So the bad thing is it's hard for you to adjust the anchor point. The good thing is it's easy for you to adjust the shape. Now see, instead of position up, right, I use anchor point and push this object up. or down, right? The anchor point remains at the center. Only the object is being pushed up. Notice? Which is good because all the layers from A to H, they are all being pushed up, but the anchor point remains at here. Alright? So once I lock down one of the position that I like, in my case I'm going to use 920 for position Y. Position X don't have to change, just leave it as it is. Position Y I push up to 920. You adjust yourself how high you want it to be. Right? Next thing to do is press R. Okay, and then your mathematics skill comes in. Okay, so in this case I think by right A should be top, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then center main should be at the topmost, but we can adjust later. Alright. The first one rotation correct already because the first circle is here. Second circle is somewhere here. The third circle is somewhere here. The fourth circle is somewhere here. Right? And if your mathematics is somewhat good or you have memorized the number, then you will know the second one is 45, the third one is 90, this one is 135, this one is 180, right? This one is 235, I think. Okay, so how do I know all this number? One full circle equals to 360 degree, right? I got 8 shape. If I divide by 4 shape, then easy. It will be 0, 90, 180, 270. Okay, so I'll just hide these 4 to show you. Okay, so 90, 0, 90, 180, 270. And then the first one will be 0. 0 and 360 is actually the same thing. Okay? Now, if you are very good at mathematics, then sure, you can do this, or if you have already memorized. But the bare minimum that you need to know is one full circle equals to 360. That's all you have to know. Okay? That's the important part that you need to know. One full circle is 360. If you have 8 shape, then you divide by 8. But After Effects is quite mathematical. If your mathematics is bad, what you can do is this. Instead of 450, right, you type in 360 divide by 8. When you press enter, he will tell you it's 45. They will give you the calculation straight away. Right? So for this one, what you can do is, because you know everyone will move about 45, right? So for the third one, instead of 135, you can type in 90 plus 45. When you press enter, it will give you 135. So even if your mathematics is maybe not that good, like for example, this one here very difficult, right? So you can say 180 plus 45. It will tell you that the number is actually 225. So for this one, 270 plus 45. So I sort of get like a circular shape now. Okay. So I'm going to close them all. I'm going to bring center main on top so that it covers the whole thing. So now we have one single design that looks like this. We haven't offset this thing yet. We can offset it later.